Palestine will be free. Intifada, intifada. Intifada, intifada. Long live the intifada. Long live the intifada. These are loud enough for me. Intifada, intifada. Intifada, intifada. Long live the intifada. Long live the intifada. Louder fists in the air. Intifada, intifada. Intifada, intifada.
You know, just getting back to comparing, the way that the Freedom Convoy protested and things like this in the streets and how the Freedom Convoy was treated by the government, media, police, etc. I never heard a Freedom Convoy demonstration with such vitriol in their voice when they were protesting that, like screeching. It's really unsettling to hear.
I have to tell you though, Tamara, I mean, I'm really torn by watching that clip. Pro-Hamas demonstrators denouncing Justin Trudeau. It reminds me of the tagline for the movie Aliens versus Predator. No matter which side wins, we lose. I mean, like, who do you support? The blackface regime or pro-Hamas people? But I want to say something. It's terribly unfashionable and politically incorrect, but I think this makes for a case, not only for Canada, but for other Western nations, that when it comes to immigration, I think we really have to screen who we are letting into the country. Mm-hmm. These are people on display who don't give a rodent's rectum about Western values. And on the contrary, they're not quiet about it. They're flouting it in the streets. We want more destruction. We want more death. We want more terrorism. The fact of that, to see such a critical mass as opposed to, just a couple of dozen people, this is chilling for me. Again, that clip is from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, not Ramallah. And that gives me cause for concern about who exactly we're letting into our country.
Mm-hmm. There was a clip, I'm trying to find it. I think it was from Fox News, where one of their reporters was interviewing a Hamas supporter, and they said, essentially, do you back America first? And they said no. And he said, well, aren't you American? They said yes. And he said, and you don't back America first? He said, nope, I back Hamas or Palestine, whatever it was. Anyway,
so
and that's case in point there.
Case in point. And I think the follow-up question was, or is, or should be, then why are you here?
Yeah.
Like, if you are, in the U.S., don't you swear a pledge of allegiance? So right off the bat, you lied. And if your heart is with barbarians and savages back in the motherland, killing innocent people, carting babies out and beheading them, then why are you in a land that subscribes to democracy and Western values? I don't get it, Tamara.
Here, I think I found the clip. Just give me a moment to share it, and maybe we can just throw that quickly to just drive that point. That point home. While we wait for the clip to load, we have a $5 super chat from Memory Hole. Thank you. Okay. Says, repatriate Arab occupied Israel. And here, let's just throw to that Fox News clip. And I think this is from yesterday. Do we have that here? Yes. Okay.
I spoke to a guy before this, and he said America first. You weren't happy with that. Why?
Israel would not exist without America.
So no America first for you?
No.
Are you an American?
Yes.
And you don't want to put America first?
No.
Yep. The defense.
It's
oh my
straight
goodness.
up, right?
It's shocking. And I think what it speaks to as well, if that was someone who was actually born in America as opposed to immigrating there, this speaks to, what we're seeing on the Transanity file in schools, Tamara, the indoctrination. This is someone that's gone through the education system in the United States of America, where, America is a colonialist, imperialist country, where death to America, hey, nothing wrong with saying that. We have so much to be guilty for. These are people that hate their own country. That's what they're being taught, and it's much like what, as I said, with the education regarding trans, that trans women are real women, and a man pretending to be a woman can get into women's sports and women's shelters and women's prisons. And who are we to say that's wrong? In fact, that's more diversity. It should be celebrated and cheered. It's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. And you'll have a full report on what happened yesterday out in the field, but we have this first small 15-second clip here, which really highlights the dehumanization under the guise or because of these differing ideologies.
There's no slaughter, my friend. There's no slaughter. What happened is self-defense. People are trying to get out of the open-air prison that they're open. No problem.
So basically, he's saying there's no such thing as Israel. It's self-defense.
Yes, no such thing as Israel, that a real Jew denounces the state of Israel, that the solution for the crisis in the Middle East in that neighborhood, Tamara, it's a one-state solution, which is to say it's a Palestinian state only. This speaks to the bigger problem that over the decades, in the peace process that has always proven futile, when the Palestinians are getting, in one peace deal, I think it goes back to the Clinton years, 98% of what they were asking for. 98%. Now, Tamara, if you're negotiating a deal and you're getting 98% of your demands, that's not a good deal. That's an incredible deal. That's an exceptional deal. But it's not enough. And therefore, again, it might be unpopular to say this, but I think based on all those failed attempts, including land for peace, money in land for peace, and it's always no, 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 and then you see this act of barbarism on Saturday, it makes me wonder if the Palestinian people are mature enough to have their own state, because their actions speak otherwise.
Well, and I just want to really drive home the point that there is the radical Hamas terrorists, and then there are innocent Palestinians who are caught in this crossfire. And we should really make sure to note that the entanglement of the extremes is really where we get lost in the nuance, and not to contribute further to that dehumanizing on either side. And because there are innocent civilians being caught here, and that is the most atrocious part of this.
No, you're quite right. And if we look at the Gaza Strip, you're talking about 2 million residents. It is probably the most densely populated strip of territory on planet Earth. And of course, not all Palestinians are simpatico with groups like Hamas. And that, the question arises, who was the real winner here based on Saturday? Already, Israel is ramping up to enact justice as it should. And unfortunately, with the bombings in retaliation and with the siege in terms of fuel and food and electricity, it is going to be those Palestinian citizens that are going to be victimized. But what else can Israel do?
Hey, I got to tell you, I'm going on a cruise with a whole bunch of rebels. We're sailing out of Fort Lauderdale on March 23rd, 2024. That's not so far away, less than 6 months away. A gorgeous trip around the Caribbean. Holland America Line, boy, is that luxurious. And we're going to bring some of our favorite rebel talent. Sheila Gunn Reid, David Menzies, and can you believe it? We're actually bringing Tamara Leach with us, and you are invited. That's rebelnewscruise.com.